Hi everybody, welcome to Preservice Chat. Great to have you with us whenever it is you're joining us. Today it's my privilege to have Sarah Price with us. Thanks for joining us today, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you and I were on the phone the other day and we were just having a conversation about some opportunities here at the church. And I was reminded that you just are one of these people that finds a way to serve. Like you care about people and you just find a way to serve. And when you first came to the church, you told me about an organization you worked with for 10 years, Watoto Children's Choir. Do you remember Watoto Children's Choir? We've had them at Saanich a few times. Maybe just tell us a little bit about that opportunity that you had and some of that experience.
Yeah, so I worked with Watoto for over 10 years, and I worked in a lot of different areas. So the children's choir is one piece of it, but there's a whole bunch of other things that go on. So in Uganda, it's there's children's villages where orphaned and abandoned children are being cared for, and really it's holistic care. So there's education and spiritual care, and there's all their food and housing, everything's provided. So that's the main part of it. And then there's ladies that are helped as well, where they're given skill training, Living Hope, and then they get fair wage and items are sold, and it's just amazing the things they create. So lots of different pieces to it, but I worked there for over 10 years. I did lots of different things with the organization, and it was just an amazing experience to see the message of hope that the choir would bring to Canada and actually to all over the world, different countries. But it was an amazing thing to be a part of that, and just to see, these kids that have gone through so much, bringing hope to people's lives here. And so my most recent role there before my employment ended was Director of Operations. And that then the organization moved to Ontario. So yeah, that's what.
Wow, they went to the dark side. Oh
well,
my goodness,
Watoto, bigger.
We need you back.
Yeah.
It's cool to me because, so that chapter of your life sort of ended. I know as you and your family have been at Saanich, you've stepped in and you've volunteered in different ways. And then when we were on the phone the other day, discovered that just in the last few months, you've kind of found this new opportunity, a very current thing that's going on in the world around us. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So my great-grandparents, so my dad, both of his grandparents were from Lviv, which is a city in the Ukraine that is quite close to the border with Poland, so western Ukraine. And so they lived there and actually until probably their mid-20s, and then immigrated to Canada. So when I heard about the conflict, I've always wanted to go to Ukraine, and I haven't yet, but I've always felt connected because of the family history. So when I heard about the conflict, I wanted to do something just to help, because I know a lot of, actually in the beginning it started just with wanting to help in general. But then I found out that, there's people coming to Vancouver Island. So at that point, I just went online, and I know that there's Ukrainian Canadian Cultural Association in Victoria. So I looked up their website, and they have some great things like a gift shop with things being sold that help out. But there's actually a link on their website, and the website for this that I'm helping with now is called it's called Help Ukraine Vancouver Island. And the website is let me just make sure I've got it.
Yeah, it's all good.
The website for that is ukrainehelpvi.ca. And that's where people are just able to, first of all, Ukrainians coming to the island are able to find information about all the different sources of help and resources and things like that. But also people on the island can sign up to help and volunteer in different ways, or host a family for a while. So that's where I went. I signed up, I filled out an application, and now we're making welcome baskets for people coming and things like that, and even cooking meals sometimes for items being sold to fundraise. So lots of different opportunities.
I was telling you just before we started filming this that I had an opportunity this afternoon just to talk to a young mom and her daughter, who's probably, 8 or 9. And as we were talking, they were looking to find out how to get to Living Edge, and we were chatting, and the daughter said something, and I didn't understand the language. And she goes, "Oh, she doesn't speak English." I said, "Oh, what's your native language?" And she said, I think she said Ukrainian Russian. And I looked at her, and she said, "Yeah, we've just arrived here 3 weeks ago." And she said Canadians have been so helpful and so encouraging. And so, well done to you and well done to these organizations and all that are helping out. How many have come, do you know, or is it like a couple a month, or are they starting, are more families starting to arrive? What's sort of that rhythm looking like?
Yeah, so I'm part of the West Shore team because we live in Watoto.
Okay.
So there's teams for for lots of different cities on Vancouver Island. But I know in the West Shore, there's been about 12 to 15 families arrived already, possibly more at this point. That's the last I heard.
Wow.
And there's quite a few more to come.
Wow.
I believe there's been some issues with getting out of Europe and just air transit and things like that. So, but I know that apparently there's lots of people willing to help families, and there's lots of families signed up to come to Canada. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So we'll make sure that the website is along there if people want to look into it and just discover some more things about it. One of the things I just wanted to ask you though is how does Sarah Price get to the point where, like, you just are always looking for ways to help those who are kind of in the margins, I guess, those who maybe life has knocked them down a little bit. It's not just. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think I grew up in church, and I saw lots of missionaries come, and just, I loved listening to what they were doing to help people and just the impact it was making on their lives in really tangible ways for Christ. And so I just held that in my heart since I was little. And then as I grew older, grade 12, my class went on a missions trip to Cuba. And that was amazing because we really got to do a lot of different outreach, in churches, doing skits and songs, things like that. But also even just things like painting a classroom with bright colors or a playground, and just seeing the impact that had on kids, giving out medical supplies, right? Something so needed. But in the end too, we went there to give and to help, but in the end we received as well because we learned so much from them. Some of them were in such hard situations, but they were amazing, kind, warm, helpful people, right? Yeah. So that, and then just, I guess, like in my mind, I think I just want to help people because it's what God calls me to do, I feel. I think God's put that in my heart personally, and I know God calls us to love others as He loves us. It says that in John 15, verse 12. And that's something that's really important to me, and I feel that there's so many different ways we can help people, so it's not always, things I'm involved in, that's one way, but sometimes, I have young kids and things like that too, so sometimes it's even just praying for someone or letting them know you're there for them, or smiling or whatever. There's so many different ways you can help, not just financial, although that's a great help, but donating items, praying. So I just try to always be involved in some way, and I pray to God that He'll just lead me in His way and open opportunities, and then I try to do what I can to help for Him.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That awesome. And that ties in right with what we're trying to figure out how to be in God's presence, know that He wants to chat with us, to talk with us, to meet with us, and then as we hear Him, discover what it is and how to obey. Sarah, thanks so much. Very, very cool. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.